friends, Stephanie here, and I'm back with more movie chatter. And what I have for you today are some sports movies. These are 10 sports movies that I think deserve more love and attention, so that's what we're going to give them here. And then I have 5 bonus ones that I have talked about before, but just for those who haven't maybe seen the videos or missed the ones where I talked about those movies, I think they're worthy of a second or third or 10th mention because I think they're great and I want to just share them with you. So the first one, I'm going to get right into it. The first one is a documentary, and I told you I wouldn't share documentaries unless they were really great, and this one is fantastic. It is called Murderball. It's from 2005. And what this one is about, it is about full contact, wheelchair, quadriplegic rugby. And you want to talk about a testament to the human spirit, this movie is it and more. These guys play full contact. They're in these specialized, you can see the apparatus that the fellas, it's a specialized wheelchair. And these wheelchairs are made especially for these guys who are competing in these tournaments where they are going all out there beating the crap out of each other in these wheelchairs and playing this full contact, full on, no holds barred rugby. It is amazing, and they will stop at nothing. They're so competitive. They are wild. And I think it's really cool. You get to hear from them in between. You get to hear from each player, you know, the players that are featured in the film, in between the shots where they show you them actually competing. And it is a really cool documentary. So if you want to learn about a new sport that maybe you didn't even know existed, definitely check out Murderball. And to its testament, in 2005, when it was shown at the Sundance Film Festival, it actually won the Documentary Audience Award. So this is a really cool film, and I'm not sure, I think the DVD is still available, but if not, you can definitely check it out on streaming. But any way you do it, definitely check out Murderball. It's well worth a watch. And this next one is it's a Kevin Costner movie. It's one that I don't hear people talk about a lot. However, someone did leave it in the comments section on a recent video, and I think it was a video where I was talking about films that are worthy of an upgrade, and yeah, I agree, this one definitely is. But for now, it's a Blu-ray, it's part of the Warner Archive collection, and it is Kevin Costner and David Grant starring in American Flyers, and this is a movie about cycling. It's also about 2 brothers. Kevin Costner and David Grant play brothers, and they have lost their father. And they lost their father to a brain condition, which I think caused like a brain bleed, and he passed away from it. But it's also one that they can inherit. Both of them, or one of them, or neither. They can definitely inherit whatever this condition was. And at the same time, they've also become estranged, so they haven't really been talking. And they are both cyclists, and they decide to enter this, it's called Hell of the West, and it's a cycling competition through the Rocky Mountains, and they decide to enter together as a team, and kind of brings them back together. And it's just a really inspirational movie about the bond between family members, brotherhood, cycling, the love of the sport, the love of the commitment that it takes to do these types of sports, and just a really great movie all around. And whether you're into cycling or not, I think you're really going to like everything about this. I've loved this for so long. I remember watching it over and over and over again when it was, I think it was on HBO, and I remember watching it over and over again. So when it came to Warner Archive, I was very happy to pick up the Blu-ray, and I'm trying to see if I can read what year it was from. It looks like 1995. It could have been 85, but my eyesight's terrible. But either way, see American Flyers, and like I said, it's available on the Warner Archive Blu-ray, or I'm sure it's streaming somewhere, but definitely check it out. And this is one that I briefly spoke about in my when I showed my Blu-ray collection. But this stars Chadwick Boseman and Harrison Ford, and it is called 42, the Jackie Robinson story, and this is fantastic. Chadwick Boseman is fantastic as Jackie Robinson. I mean, he was great in everything. I don't think he ever gave a bad performance. He's just such a phenomenal actor, and what a loss to lose him so young. But this one takes place in 1946 when the owner of the Brooklyn Dodgers decided to sign Jackie Robinson to the team, and this is that story. And if you have not seen 42, highest recommendation on this one. It's fantastic, so definitely check that one out. Now this one is one I don't think I've ever really heard anyone talk about it, and I will preface this by saying, is it the best boxing movie out there? No, but it's an interesting story, and it's an interesting tie-in to Rocky. So I think if nothing else, it's worth a watch, even if it's just a one and done or a rental, but definitely check it out because it's not bad. It's definitely worth a watch. and it's called Chuck, and it's the untold story of the inspiration for Rocky Balboa. And this is based on a guy, his name was Chuck was it Wepner? Yeah, Wepner, Chuck Wepner, and he was called the Bayonne Bleeder. Now, Bayonne is a city, a small city in New Jersey, here where I live, and he fought Muhammad Ali, and the fight that took place between them was the inspiration for Sylvester Stallone wanting to write the Rocky movie. So we follow this Chuck Wepner, and we follow him on that journey where he's kind of contacted to see if he'll, you know, give some input to Sylvester Stallone, and his life is kind of a mess too. So we're dealing with his life events and then this whole tie-in to the Rocky story, but it's definitely worth a watch. And the cast here is Liv Schreiber, Elizabeth Moss, Ron Perlman, Michael Rappaport, and Naomi Watts. So it's a really good cast, and I think this is a decent movie. I really did enjoy this, and if you're a fan of Rocky, I think this is one story that's worth knowing. It's very interesting from that perspective. So definitely give Chuck a watch. Either way, either pick it up or just give it a rent. And this one, I saw this one in the theaters, and it was very interesting because I saw it, I think it was like 11:30 on a Sunday morning, and every single person, pretty much myself included, I mean, I'm salt and pepper, but we all had gray hair because this took place in 1973. This stars Emma Stone and Steve Carell, and it's called Battle of the Sexes, and it's based on the true story of the tennis match that took place between Billie Jean King and Bobby Riggs. And this, if you lived through this, you understand why this movie is so important and why it is so cool that they actually made it. Because I remember when this was going on, and it was all the news. It was everywhere. You could not hide from this story. And what it was is Bobby Riggs was like, he was running around being like this big male chauvinist, shooting his mouth off, and I guess it was Billie Jean King challenged him to a tennis match, and she's like, you know, women can be just as good or better than men. And so this tennis match was set, and this is about the whole thing leading up to and including the tennis match. And it's a really great story, and Emma Stone and Steve Carell are fantastic in this. And this was a really big moment in sports history and just in American history alone. It was a very cool thing that happened, and I thought this movie was very well done. And I remember when I was in the theater seeing this, at the end of it, the people were actually clapping. I mean, that rarely ever happens, but the proof was in the reaction, because we all lived through it. So we all remembered how important this story was and how accurate this depiction is for that event. So definitely check out Battle of the Sexes. It's a really cool movie, and it's a cool part of American history, sports history. And this one is one that I rewatched after I went through my Blu-ray collection, because somebody reminded me of what a really great movie this one is. And it's also based on true story. It stars Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and it is called The Gridiron Gang. And this is a football movie. And Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, plays a juvenile probation officer, and he's got these guys that are under his supervision. And he is trying to find a way for them to have a better life and to take some pride in themselves and to prevent them from ending up in prison or back in trouble on the streets. And he does it through forming a football team and getting them into this football competition that they can participate in and focus their energies in that. And this is such a great movie. And it's such an inspirational story about how one person really can make a difference in so many people's lives. If you have not seen The Gridiron Gang, I highly, highly recommend it, especially if you're a football fan. I think you'll really enjoy this, and it's a cool story. I mean, sometimes I think people just see The Rock and they're like, whatever. He's phenomenal in this. So really good movie, really important story, Gridiron Gang. Okay, I know what you're going to say about this next one. Technically, it's not considered a sport, and you would be right in that. But with the spirit of competition in mind, I think there is nothing more competitive than people who are on a debate team. So keeping that in mind, I think this definitely earned a spot in this pile. And I think it's a fantastic movie. And again, based on a true story, stars Denzel Washington and Forrest Whitaker, and it is called The Great Debaters. And this takes place in 1935 at Wiley College, where Denzel Washington plays the debate team coach. And what he wants them to do is it's an all-black debate team. They are the underdogs all around. And what their goal is to get to the point where they can compete in a debate against the Harvard debate team. And this was something that at this time period, it was just unheard of. And this is an amazing and a very important movie. If you've not seen The Great Debaters, put it high on your list and either pick up the Blu-ray, rent it, stream it, do something, but just see it because it is fantastic. And like I said, so important. So definitely check out The Great Debaters. And this is a really nice Blu-ray release. It has tons of special features on it and really good stuff. And this next one, we're back to boxing. We love boxing. This one is one that I believe it's an A24, isn't it? No, it's not an A24 movie. I'm thinking of something else. But this one stars Miles Teller and Aaron Eckhart in Bleed for This, again, based on a true story. And this is the story of boxer Vinny Pazienza. He was a Rhode Island boxer, and he was doing very well in his career, and he was involved in a catastrophic car accident which left him with almost a life-ending spinal injury. They told him he was probably never going to walk again, forget about fighting, forget everything. And he decides that he wants to give himself 1 year to get himself in shape and ready to go back into the ring. And there's one person who's, I guess he's like a physical therapist, and is willing to work with him even just to get him up and around and able to be mobile. But this is an amazing story, so definitely check out Bleed for This. Again, I don't think this gets enough attention. I think it just gets buried in the pile of great boxing movies that we have out there, but I definitely think this one is worth a watch, and it's very inspirational. And again, it's a testament to the human spirit, as are many of these movies. But definitely check out Bleed for This. Now, this one I talked about briefly in my imprint collection video, but if you didn't see that, this one is from imprint. We do not have a Blu-ray release here for this in the States. It's very deserving. It's a fantastic movie. Takes place, it's supposed to, this is not a true story, but it takes place in 1959. It is called School Ties, and it stars Brendan Fraser. And his name is Fraser, not Frazier. He did a whole big video on that. But it has a crazy good cast, and I'm trying to see if they list the cast anywhere, but it's like Matt Damon is in it, and there's a whole bunch of people in it, but Brendan Fraser is the lead. He is a star quarterback, and he gets invited, he gets this like school scholarship for a boarding school high school, which could promote him more to get to a really good college. And what his goal is to play college football, and this school that he's going to is his best opportunity to get there. The thing is, the school is Catholic and he is Jewish, and at this time the two did not mix together, so he has to hide the fact that he's Jewish. He has to hide it from his teammates, his schoolmates, from anybody he talks to. He has to hide it from, and it's his big secret. But he's a phenomenal quarterback, and they're winning, and everybody's getting along, and we just follow his story. And like I said, this is not based on true events, but I think it showed what the climate at this time period was. But it's a really good movie. If you haven't seen it, it's kind of a mix of sports and coming of age, but really good stuff. So School Ties, I believe there's still a DVD imprint in the States, and I'm sure you can stream it somewhere, but definitely give. Okay, and this last one I threw in here because it's not a story that we haven't seen before, and I just think that the performances of the actors are probably some of their best performances ever. And see it for the performances of the actors, but it's a phenomenal story, and it's a phenomenal job that they did with the acting. It's 1962's Requiem for a Heavyweight, and it stars Anthony Quinn, Mickey Rooney, Jackie Gleason, and Julie Harris. And again, it's a boxing movie, and like I said, it's not something we haven't seen before, so you're really seeing this for the performances because they are top-notch. I think this might be Anthony Quinn's best performance ever, and he plays a boxer who's really at the end of his career. He can't take any more hits. He's been hit too often. He's been injured too often, but his coach, played by Jackie Gleason, is really in it for his own selfish reasons, and he is really pushing him beyond what his body is able to take. And when he decides to kind of, Anthony Quinn's character decides to kind of walk away, and he's got to figure out what to do, they hook him up with a social worker who's trying to get him trained to do some kind of job that's not going to be dangerous to him. His coach comes back and suggests that he go into wrestling, which at that point, that was really a step down from what he was doing. It was way worse than it is like now. People are making so much money doing these wrestling things, but he wanted him to get involved in these wrestling matches, and it's, again, for his own selfish reasons, because the coach is in a lot of debt from gambling. So you can imagine what he wants him to do. But this is a really, really cool movie that, like I said, if you see it for the performances, because they are spectacular. And it's from 1962, so it's a classic sports movie, and I never hear anyone talk about this. So definitely give it a watch if you can. It's a Mill Creek title, so it's not expensive. You can definitely pick it up on Amazon. I don't know if it's streaming anywhere, but you can definitely still pick it up on Amazon. So that would be my last choice for the first 10. And then I have my 5 that I've talked about before, and I just love them, so I figured that I would just throw them in here in case you haven't heard me talk about them. Now, this one is one of my favorite football movies ever. I would say this one and Rudy are up there. Those are 2 of my favorites, but this one is called Remember the Titans, again with Denzel Washington. And this one this one is also based on true events, and it's about a football team, and it is a time when they were doing the integration, the whites and blacks learning how to go to school, how to be on a team together, and these kids, they just do not want it, and he makes it his mission to teach these guys how to work together as a team, how to get along, how to put your differences aside, your race differences, your thinking, everything, and just be a cohesive unit. And it is an amazing, amazing movie. And this is an awesome soundtrack too. I actually have the soundtrack on my phone because it's really cool. So definitely check out Remember the Titans. In this one, I heard the Blu-ray is out of print, and that's a shame, because I think if you want to see this, you're going to have to check it out through streaming, or maybe there's a DVD available, but it is The Basketball Diaries with a very young Leonardo DiCaprio. This one is based on true events as well, and it is the story of Jim Carroll, who was a basketball prodigy, but he also had a very, very serious addiction problem, and I believe he was only like, I know he was in high school, but I think he was very young. I think he was maybe 15 or 16, Jim Carroll, when these stories took place. But listen to this cast. It's Mark Wahlberg, Lorraine Bracco, Juliette Lewis, Bruno Kirby, Ernie Hudson, Michael Imperioli, Christopher from The Sopranos. And there's even an appearance by Jim Carroll himself, and then Leonardo DiCaprio, of course. But this is a fantastic movie. Very hard to watch, very tough watch, but very, very important. So, Basketball Diaries. Okay, in this next one, I spoke about recently in a video. I can't remember which one. Maybe it was 10 films you need to watch, but it is... I never hear anyone talk about it. So it stars Jared Leto, and it's called Prefontaine. Again, based on a true story about track and field star Steve Prefontaine. And this is his story, and I don't want to get too much into it, but there's some really interesting things that come out of this. And I think that you will enjoy not only the history of Steve Prefontaine, who was really the least likely guy that you would think would be a track and field star, but he's amazing, and Jared Leto is amazing as him. But there's some really cool products that come out of this one, and I don't want to ruin it, but really good, really great cast, really emotional and really impactful story. So if you haven't seen Prefontaine, please, please, please put it high on your list and check it out. And this is a Kino Lorber release, so it's right on Kino Lorber. And this last one, I've talked about it quite a few times. I love it. This one is the one that's an A24 title. It is called A Prayer Before Dawn, again, based on a true story. And it is about a young English boxer named Billy Moore who gets arrested, and he is thrown in a Thai prison, which is not a place that you want to be. And what saves him is that they let him be on the Muay Thai boxing team, which helps make his life while he's incarcerated better, because he eats with the team, he sleeps with the team, he trains with the team, and he's just in better living conditions than if he was just in with the general population. However, the thing that makes this movie super cool, other than the story, which is really great on its own, is that it was shot in a real Thai prison, and they used real Thai prisoners as the extras. So you talk about a really authentic feeling film. You're not going to find one more authentic feeling than this one. It is fantastic. So A Prayer Before Dawn, I've talked about it before. I'm going to keep talking about it, but put it on your list. Check it out. Really good. Well worth the watch. So those are my picks for today. We did sports today. Haven't done sports before, so that's something new. I want to thank everyone for watching. You know I appreciate it. I appreciate each and every one of you taking time out of your day to watch these videos. And I have a lot more coming this week. I wasn't feeling great this week, so I took a few days and just worked on the room and got myself in order. And I'm feeling good, ready to roll. But if you like things like this, movie recommendations, collection updates, hauls, movie reviews, the whole deal, anything physical media, anything to do with physical media, we do it here. Consider subscribing, hit the bell notification so you know when I upload again, which is probably going to be Monday or Tuesday. I have a lot planned. And that's going to do it for me today. So I am going to go upstairs and we are going to make homemade pizzas and I'm going to enjoy a movie with my puppies. So that's going to do it for me today, and I will see you at the beginning of the week. And again, thank you so much for watching. I'm going to see you in the next one. So for today, that's a wrap.